Good morning, everybody. Today I am going to teach you about the management of septic shock. You have already learned about clinical features and stages of septic shock. So now we are going to deal with how we manage it. So you have to remember always, management consists of investigations and treatment. Always remember this point. It consists of investigations and treatment. So I'll be dealing with that. So let's start with it. So investigations, that is what I was telling you. Note that resuscitation takes precedence over investigations, so it should go hand in hand. So what are the investigations we do is, we do blood investigations and also culture and also imaging. Okay, so whenever you are doing all these investigations, your treatment has to go with that. Investigations, the reports come later. So clinical feature, according to the clinical features, the investigation has to be done. So what all investigations we do is, full blood count is done, and we see in that hemoglobin, we see for the packed cell volume, we see for total leukocyte count, we see for differential leukocyte count, we see for neutrophils, and we see for eosinophils also. And in the total leukocyte count, we see whether it is decreased or not. So we generally see whether there is leukocytosis or not, and also we see whether platelets are normal or abnormal. So when it is abnormal, it is called as thrombocytopenia, which are the features of septic shock. So other septic workup, what we do is, we see for blood culture, we see for sputum microscopy culture and sensitivity, we see for urine microscopy culture and sensitivity, and for the wound, if there is any infection anywhere, so wound swab also is taken. And because we are dealing with a patient with septic abortion, where we know that there is an conceptus material present in the uterus, so it has got infected, so it is called septic abortion. So we have to take one vaginal swab also, that is called as endocervical swab, and we have to again send it for microscopy culture and sensitivity. Or if there is any exudate, pus or anything, we have to send it for culture and sensitivity also. So we have to see for whether there is any organisms present in this. Okay, so then based on the what imaging we are doing, based on the suspected source, it is chest x-ray has to be done, or abdominal x-ray, abdominal pelvic ultrasonography, or CT abdomen pelvis, or scan from any site where we are suspecting the infection to be present. Okay, so what are the treatment we give here is, septic shock, it is a medical emergency. It requires a prompt and efficient resuscitation. So generally when you see a hypotensive shock, you give treatment by fluids and blood is given, packed cells are given. But in septic shock, there is one extra, there is a sepsis, so IV antibiotics also is very important here. So before that, what happens is, there is generally oxygen is come down, BP is come down, and there is a full-blown infection. So we have to admit the patient in ICU, and we have to improve the hemodynamic state of the patient. We have to restore tissue perfusion to increase the O2 delivery to the tissue, administer oxygen, and you have to combat the bacteria and cytokines and eliminate the septic focus. So these are the four main aims which we are supposed to do here. So resuscitation, we have to do volume replacement, IV access with 2 wide bore IV cannulas, and you have to take blood for investigations. Crystalloids are started, which are readily available in any casualty or in ICU. So 1 liter has to be given in 30 to 45 minutes, and then we have to keep reassessing. And you have to do catheterization, urethral catheterization, and we have to maintain the hourly urine output, that is 30 to 50 ml per hour, and central venous catheter is also inserted. Vasopressors are also given, so that because there is hypotension, that has to be treated. So what all vasopressors when we give vasopressors, when after adequate fluid resuscitation with signs of fluid overload, that is basal crepitations are seen, or there is high central venous pressure and persistent hypotension if it is seen, we can give norepinephrine. Alpha and beta receptors are stimulated by this. First line for septic refractory shock for volume replacement, and also vasoconstriction, and if there is reflex bradycardia also, norepinephrine will help. One more drug which we give is dopamine, that is systemic vasoconstriction. It causes inotropic effect, and also it causes renal vasodilatation. Dose is 2 to 20 micrograms per minute. And other things what I told you about is oxygen administration. First vasopressor is over, now it is about the oxygen administration. So in a cleared and patent airway, oxygen is delivered via face mask to increase the O2 saturation, and also it increases the uptake and delivery to the tissue. So other than that, I told you there is a septic shock. So there is sepsis. To combat that sepsis, we have to give antibiotics. It is given in large IV doses, that is parenteral route is given, and IV broad spectrum bactericidal and anaerobic coverage is given. So what we do here is we give ceftriaxone 50 to 100 milligrams per kg. It can be given up to 2 grams also. And for anaerobic cover, we give metronidazole 500 milligrams 8th hourly. So other than that, we have to give steroids. Now why do we give steroids is it inhibits the conversion of membrane phospholipids to arachidonic acid, hence inhibiting release of secondary mediators. So what we give is hydrocortisone 2 to 6 grams daily for 2 days, and it is beneficial if it is given at the onset of septic shock. So other than that, we can give NSAIDs also. NSAIDs like ibuprofen is given, which inhibits the COX pathway, thereby it inhibits the prostaglandin and thromboxane synthesis. It prevents neutrophil aggregation also, and it also prevents the activation of neutrophils. It decreases the superoxide radicals and stabilizes the lysosome membranes enzymes. Other than that, we can give few drugs like O2 free radical scavengers, superoxide dismutase can be given, or vitamin C or allopurinol also can be given. They have been shown to decrease the tissue damage and multi-organ dysfunction in septic shock if it is given prophylactically. And also we have to keep a glycemic control, check on the blood sugar levels by maintaining it to 80 to 120 milligrams per deciliter. Other than that, naloxone can be given to increase the blood pressure because the patient is in shock, that is hypotension, and prevention of further coagulation also can be done by giving recombinant human activated protein C. It inhibits the thrombosis and inflammation, and it promotes the fibrinolysis and modulates coagulation and inflammation. So surgery has to be done because there is a septic foci somewhere, and you have to remove that septic foci after the patient is stable. So what all surgery we can do is, we can first, it is resuscitative also and it is therapeutic also. So if septic focus is responsible for the shock, it should be dealt with as soon as possible, especially if response for the therapy is poor. So we can do debridement, we can do drainage of abscess, or in our case it is a septic abortion, so you have to do suction and evacuation to remove the septic focus. So what are the clinical signs which will help us to know whether there is improvement? What all monitoring we have to do is, we have to see for the sensorium whether the consciousness, the GCS has improved or not. We have to see what is the color of the conjunctiva, whether pink, and we have to see for the venous and capillary filling, and skin also, whether it is dark, cold or warm. And the urine output has to be monitored, which is the best indicator. Hourly urine output 0.5 to 0.1 ml per kg per hour, and pulse rate and BP has to be monitored every 15 minutes. Central venous pressure has to be measured. It should be ideally from 10 to 15 centimeter. And also arterial blood gas analysis has to be done by pulse oximeter, or by pulse oximeter saturation has to be seen. So what are the complications we can expect here in septic shock are acute respiratory distress syndrome, ARDS, acute renal failure, DIC, encephalopathy, liver failure, and multi-organ dysfunction, which all lead to death. So what are the poor prognostic factors are? One is age, one is immunosuppression, which we see in if the patient is on any chemotherapy, then or any immunosuppressants for cancer, or if the patient is HIV positive, or if there is AIDS syndrome is set up, or if there is infection with resistance organism levels, or where the interleukin levels 6 are increased, and when the patient is not coming out of the shock, when the ionotropes are needed for more than 24 hours, and multi-organ dysfunction despite all the above treatment which we gave. So how the prevention is done? It is by early recognition, prompt treatment of the infection, meticulous surgical technique should be done, preoperative antibiotics has to be given, aseptic technique has to be followed whenever you are doing any type of surgery or any examination, sterilization of surgical equipment has to be done properly and routinely, and should be done meticulously also. Optimization of the patient. If the patient is diabetic, then you have to make sure you sensitize the patient about the chance of diabetic food, about more chances of infections. Also other methods like you have to do more sensitization to all the public also. Then what are the future trend? What are the scope of treatment of septic shock? There are new trials done which are still done on animals and not on humans. So monoclonal antibodies to interleukin 1 and 6 and recombinant activated protein C also which inhibits factor 5A and factor 8A. Research are focused on modifying the host response to sepsis via a number of approaches, including antibodies against gram-negative endotoxin, gamma globulins, monoclonal antibodies against tumor necrosis factor, blockade of eicosanoid production, blockade of interleukin-1 activity, inhibition of nitric oxide synthase, and these approaches have met with success in animal experiments, but at present they cannot be recommended for general use in humans. So what is the conclusion about this is septic shock, it is an emergency with high mortality even in the best centers. Early recognition and energetic treatment is the key to good outcome. Early detection of those at risk and prevention is the safest and cheapest way of reducing morbidity and mortality associated with it. Thank you.